Okay. Hey, Sherry, I've pressed all the buttons and all of the little signals are coming up. We are live.
We are live. Good.
We are live. Yes. Today is Wednesday, looking at my calendar over there, March 12th. March is already halfway over. I cannot believe
it. You mean May?
I'm sorry, it's May.
March is gone. We're in May, okay. And May's halfway over.
It's May 12th.
So if we were in March, you would have missed April. Oh, no. March is gone, April's gone, and we're halfway through May, Terry Ann.
Wow, I cannot believe I just did that. I have no idea.
I just caught you up how much?
I have no idea when it is, but somehow it's today, and we are here. We are live on Facebook Live, and thank you all for joining us. This is Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach, TA. Let's talk about those lies that you tell you, that negative self-talk, by changing your perspective. When you will realize that there are possibilities, opening up new pathways onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. My co-host is Sherry.
Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I am Sherry Berger. I am the owner of Here to There Consulting. We educate business owners and entrepreneurs with those tools to balance business, life, and finances, because you deserve. Our mission is to help you create the business and life that you deserve. So welcome this morning, and welcome, Pam. I've seen you come on. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it is. What is the weather here in Kansas City? I think it's like in the 60s this week, isn't it?
Is it the 60s today? I don't know. All I know is I look out on my deck. I look out on my deck. I watch my little fountain and my little pretty flowers. They're all there. The day is good.
Well, and in Kansas right now, I don't know about the other states. We never know what we're going to wake up to in the morning. It's great. It's called a surprise. It's like Christmas or spring or summer or winter every day.
Every day. You can have all four of those seasons in one day here.
I know. We've had it. It's fun. Nothing is boring. It's
a lot of fun.
It's very exciting. Isn't it about our perspective with the weather? How much does the weather change people's attitudes?
Oh, it can.
Yeah. I think we've been learning lately just to go with the flow and laugh about it, because Kansas weather's been crazy. But today, what are we going to talk about, Terry Ann?
We're going to talk about those weeds that grow in our life or business garden. How beautiful. We talked last week about how beautiful is your garden? How is it? What does it look like? How is it blooming? What about those weeds in there?
Oh my gosh, weeds can choke those plants and totally kill them. I hate that when that happens. What are those weeds that literally they grow and then they're like vines and they go up the plant? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I pulled a few of those last week.
Oh my gosh. See, oh my gosh, Pam says it's 46. I think here it is better than 36.
Yeah, and she says Mother Nature is bipolar and off her meds.
It's 53 here at my house, at least, which is much better than 36. Oh my gosh. So see, it's all about perspective. But yeah, those weeds that literally can choke your plants. And you said that you pulled that one and made your garden look so much more perspective.
Yes, I looked out there. There was this one section of my garden was just totally covered with weeds. And I thought, this is going to take me hours to do this. I reached down and touched one portion of it, and it was all one big clump. And the thing is, the roots on this particular one were very shallow. I just picked it up and I could throw it away. All of a sudden, my attitude changed, because my garden, with that one change, looked so much better already.
So if you ever felt in your life or your business overwhelmed and you're like, what do I do? Right? Because your mindset might be one of those weeds that's really getting you down. Oh my gosh, mindset, the devil loves to use that. I think you've said that you've had some pain, and my plantar fasciitis on and off has been acting up. And I don't know, things happen in life. Weather can change our mindset. The way people are acting around you but why are people maybe acting the way you are around you, right? I was listening to this great motivational speaker this morning, and he talked about how his uncle didn't like him to throw a rock in the water. You guys ever do that when you went camping? Right?
Why does he not want a rock thrown in the water?
Because then you're disturbing the fish, right? But the ripple effect of the rock, and then if you got a bigger rock, there'd be a ripple effect. But do you realize that if you have a great attitude, there's a ripple effect? It's like throwing that rock in the creek. Mm-hmm. There's going to be more. Now, don't disturb those fish. Be nice about that.
If someone's fishing, don't do it.
It was like you're scaring the fish. But he said, but what I liked was when I threw the rock in, you got a ripple effect back. And if you threw a bigger rock, you got a bigger ripple effect. Well, that's the same thing with negative. So if I throw a little negative pebble, what happens? Negativity. So if you get into that poor me, bad attitude, bad mindset, what happens? I don't know. Have you ever driven a car and you hit every stoplight? Oh my gosh. And you're late and your hair's a mess. You're having a bad hair day. Your light's late. I don't even know. Everything that can go wrong is wrong. But as soon as you start changing your perspective and you go, oh my gosh, I got more time to pray in the car. I'm going to get my jams on. I'm going to, when all of a sudden I can actually listen to this whole podcast. Oh, my hair looks like a mess, but I'm at the stoplight. I can fix that. So see, when you change that perspective, then all of a sudden all these good things are going on around you. And as I say that, I have a real poofy hair day today. And it's funny because all I had to do is start talking about hair. And what did I do? Started worrying about what my hair looks like. I bet that's what everybody was looking at before I brought that up. I don't think so. But we do that, right, with our mindset. Mm-hmm. So being aware of that. So this week, our challenge to you guys is to find out what those weeds are. Another one of the weeds that gets in my way a lot, Terry Ann, is squirrels. You know, I have a list of things I need to do, but you know what? This is hard. This is overwhelming. I can do that when I'm trying to work on my book, right? Mm-hmm. But Facebook looks like fun. So I think I'll just be on it for a minute. Have you ever been on Facebook for a minute? I want everybody on here that's on here to raise their hand that can do 1 minute. I've said 60 seconds. That's what I said. Facebook, only 1 minute.
It doesn't work, does it?
No. Or how about those times that you've decided that you're just going to watch that one show on TV and it's midnight and then you have to get up early and you're tired. And then I know I shared with you today, I went camping over the weekend and oh my gosh, we had a horrid storm Saturday night. And we have 3 dogs and one of our dogs is terrified of storms. And we have like a pop-up out of our camper. So we slept in the pop-up tent up in this air, you know what I'm saying? So the storm was, oh my gosh. So we got no sleep. So it's Monday. I don't know about you, but I had 50 million things to do. And I had my list. And I was like, I have to get all this done, but I'm very, very tired. So I should go take a nap, but no, I don't have time for that. I finally realized I need to go take that 20-minute nap. And you know what happened after the 20-minute nap? I was able to focus and get a lot more done in the rest of the day. So those are just some of my examples to throw out real fast. What are some of yours, Terry Ann? I'm trying to get our audience to tell us too.
I love
squirrel crossing.
Squirrel crossing in the brain becomes squirrel nation. I do have squirrel issues. I have some terrible squirrel issues because I'm sitting here and especially working on the computer. All those little dings that come through. Okay, I'm working on this, but wait a minute, that just dinged. I better go see what that message was. Okay, I'll take care of that in a minute. Come back over here, but oh wait, there's my little message numbers. I can't stand to have those little numbers up at the top. You know, these on Facebook, you got these little. I got to get rid of those numbers. So now I've got to stop. I got to go. And I squirrel a lot. That's a big issue for me. And then I walk away feeling, well, I didn't get anything done. Well, no, I didn't, because I didn't concentrate on focus on the one thing. I squirreled it all the way through. And those days, I feel so hopeless. I thought, I'm down on myself. That's where I said, okay, we're going to open up this browser with only this thing on it, and everything else I have to shut off. Got to tell myself, shut it off. It's okay to shut them off. But it's weird. How can I shut down my email? What if somebody sends me a message?
Well, and what if you miss something?
I might.
Can you imagine you don't know what your friend ate on Facebook? How would that go?
Gosh.
It could ruin your whole day. Or you don't know what drama is going on in the world. Oh my God.
I learned the term. The other day, FOMO. I had to look it up. Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
But while I'm so worried about missing out on your life, I'm totally missing out on my life.
Oh, you're going to love what Pam says, because you've brought this up before, Terry Ann. It's the challenge of working at home. Visually seeing little projects, big projects, things out of place, distractions, squirrels. I mean,
have you seen that post that says, I went to do the laundry, and while I was there, I knew I had to go get another towel. And so I went into the kitchen, and I noticed that the refrigerator needed to be cleaned. So I started to clean that. And then when I went to throw something out, I saw the trash had to go out. Then I went to take the trash out, and then I saw some weeds in the garden. So, and that's why nothing got done today.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens.
My husband and I will plan those, what is it called? Productive weekends that you're supposed to get stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
And he most generally finishes his project. He'll walk in, and that's exactly what I did. I cleaned up my office a little bit, but then I made my bed, and then I flipped the laundry, and then and he'll be like, "You're not," and I'm like, "Yeah, I get bored working on one project I need to do." And he's like, "If you would just focus on one room, you could get that room done, Sherry. But you know what? You go be you. I'm going to go back and do my project." But that drives my husband nuts. And in a way, it drives me. Well, it does drive you nuts, right? But when somebody else telling you, but then you're trying to make excuses. You do see I made the bed, and I flipped the laundry, and okay, Sherry, that's fine. But I'm just saying that maybe if you focused on.
But that takes me to, it also makes me think of those people. And then I say those people quite often. I am in that. Oh, I'm just so busy. I did this, 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 and this. And they're getting joy out of, even though nothing got done, they're getting joy out of talking about how busy they are.
I feel bad for people, especially business owners and entrepreneurs. Sometimes they try to say that they're so busy so that you think that they're important, or I don't even know what. But I don't know if you realize sometimes you're doing the opposite. Like, I know this lawyer. Oh my gosh, he's always complaining that he has more to do than he needs to do. And I'm thinking, I think you're pretty good at what you do, but I'm almost scared to send a client to you because you're always overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And so why do you not have systems? And why are you working 60, 70 hours? You know what I mean? A week. And why? And it just really makes me hurt for that individual, right? I just look at them and I go, you do know that there's a better way to run your life. To stop, take a 20-minute nap. When I did that, I go, sometimes you got to stop and smell the roses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to do that so that you can be re-energized and, and move on. And it sucks. I had to take a 20-minute nap on a Monday. I know that. I get that. That was not in my plans, Terry Ann, but I also didn't plan on being in a storm all Saturday night. And then come home Sunday, and it was Mother's Day, and 2 of my kids were here. And I thought I'd get to take a nap on Sunday, but that didn't happen because there was people around that were important, and I need to spend time with them. So it's just, I don't know, it's about readjusting sometimes too. So that could have been a weed, but it wasn't a weed, because you know how it will become a weed. Don't take a nap and see how your day goes.
How about this? Your 20-minute nap was a weed killer.
It was.
How energized were you when you woke up?
I could get more done. But how irritable are you when you don't have sleep? You don't have food. You're in pain. Terry Ann can relate with that. Any of your, what is it called? What are those basic needs? Self-care. Your basic needs. If they don't get met, it affects you. It affects you in your business. It affects what you do with your clients. It affects your closing deals. It affects you. And sometimes people are like, I don't have time for self-care. I don't have time to sleep, go for a walk, eat right.
Kathy says, who doesn't need a little extra motivation and extra encouragement every so often? She loves that cool term, weed killer. Self-care is our weed killer.
Yeah, because self-care is important and encouraging and motivating. And what did Kathy just say by her saying that? That said, when do you need to sit down with a friend and have a cup of coffee to be encouraged and revamp? Through the pandemic, when this pandemic happened, I was so busy, right? Because business owners were hurting. And I thought I'd go save the world. Yeah, right. I'm not God. But that was my attitude, and that's not a good one, just to tell you. But anyway, so I was helping all my clients, and I'm like, I'm so lonely, and I feel like I don't get to see anybody, and we're only on Zoom, and we're only da-da-da. And I go, but yet I talk to people all day long. And I realized part of my self-care, I was not just sitting down, having a cup of coffee, putting my hair down. Not that I'm not authentically me now, but I'm saying hanging out with my people, my friends, that I can just, you know what I mean? Be me. And I'm not solving a problem, and and I love my job. I'm not saying I don't. But when do you finally just say, you know, go laugh with a girlfriend, go hang out, have a cup of coffee, like Kathy just put, have them encourage you, you know, have somebody say, hey, I appreciate you. And speaking of that, last week, I anonymously got this very, very nice thank you letter from somebody. I couldn't figure out who it was. And later I found out who it was. But I was like, they wrote it all in cursive and they wrote their name, but you couldn't read it. Okay. So that's how it became anonymous.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And so you could read all the stuff that they're writing and you're like, who is this? And I had to go back and figure that out. But really you didn't, right? Because it was an encouraging, it was just an encouragement, right? And another one of my friends go, I think it's from God. God just sent that to you, Sherry. It's not. But I thought it was random that this person just randomly wrote me a thank you from January. What an inspiration, encourager, and helpful I was with that individual in January. And they're afraid they never told me. So they thought they better write me this letter. I was like, wow. Yeah. So you just don't know, right?
I'll bet that letter of encouragement was a weed killer.
That's what I'm saying. And somebody said it's from God, but I couldn't figure out who it was from. They're like, why are you worried about who it's from? It's from God. And I was like, oh.
What are some other weeds that we have? We've got attitude. We've got distractions.
Those people that you can hang out with, right? The toxic people in your life. Ooh. Those can be weed killers.
How do the people in your life become weeds in your life?
When you don't have boundaries, right? That's what Terry Ann would say.
Boundaries, huh?
Yeah, to have boundaries with some of those people, right? So, you ever notice when you hang out with somebody, you either feel uplifted or you feel discouraged? If you pay attention to that, you could find out who the people, well, usually we gravitate to the people that we want to spend more time with anyway. But sometimes when you leave somebody and you feel very discouraged.
Do you ever walk into a room of people and just feel the tension and all that? And you just know that, and it a lot just starts from one person, talking about that ripple effect, that one toxic person in there and how they can ripple out and totally take over an entire room.
I stay out of those rooms. I don't know why you're in those rooms, Terry. Run for the hill. That's what I do.
Run. Okay.
Those are not your tribe or your people. Don't even stay there. Just go. Because the funny thing is you can't change the environment, right?
Right.
So my friend Gerald used to always tell me, when you interview with people, to go to work for corporate America, pay attention to the people in the front office. Pay attention to people that you're around, because you will figure out what that environment is gonna, like if the person at the front desk comes across as being toxic or rude, or those are, what do you want to call them? Red flags. Pay attention. How do you feel when you walk in that company? How do you, all that stuff. And I always thought that was weird. And he'd always be like, it's like going on a date. You need to see if you fit in there as well as if they, instead you think they're interviewing you, but you're interviewing them. Is that somewhere you really want to be? And is that going to help you grow to where you want to be next? So I always thought that was interesting advice, especially when I was only 20 being told this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a thing that, of course, has stuck to me now that I'm, 30 with some experience.
That is an interesting perspective. You are interviewing them. So even if you desperately need a job, it's still a mindset of, hey, I do have some control here. I can still say yes. I can still say no. That little bit of attitude. Like Pam says, having discernment. That is a huge key. Discernment.
And I don't know about you. Have you ever got a client that takes 6? Yeah. Right? You don't need to take every client.
Right.
Because if you do take every client, it affects you. And it affects your other clients. So are they a good fit even for you to be working with?
That's why I often have a conversation beforehand. You're interested? Yes, you're interested, but let's talk and see. Are we compatible? It doesn't mean that either one of us is wrong if we're not. It just means that I can't help you because and you can't help yourself because it just doesn't work together. Makes a difference.
So what are some of the things that you guys have in your life that you would think were weeds? I'd like to ask the audience. I'd like to know what other people think regarding that. So we talked about it's people, right? Can be weeds. The squirrels that we'll chase, our mindset, our perspective, but which would be mindset, right? What is the other weeds in your life?
And we hope to be planting a seed, not a weed, but planting a seed in your life so that this week you'll stop to think and notice, hey, that's a weed, and look at it in a different manner.
Well, you talked about that with mindset, right? When you talked about that big long weed, all we have to do is start having a bad attitude or a bad mindset. And what happens? It grows, grows, grows. The same thing with when you think all the drivers are driving crappy and you think the stoplights. And I've heard the new thing because we're opening more and more in the United States in general, but in Kansas, right? So more people are getting out. People are like, oh my gosh, they all forgot how to drive. Or how about this is great. Everybody's out driving. This is going to be, you know what I mean? It's all about how we think about it. So I try really, really hard. This is something I try really, really hard is not to complain about another driver because I don't know what's going on in their life. Are they really in a hurry because their grandma's in the hospital? Are they really in a hurry? Or are they having a bad day? Or what day did I accidentally cut somebody off and didn't mean to? Or what day? So if you think about what's going on in the other person's life, it would change your perspective. Have you ever seen that video where that person, I don't remember, somebody was waiting in line to get Starbucks and they were frustrated the other person took too long to get an order. Anyway, and you find out all these people, everybody's annoying him. He tried to back up and almost ran over Johnny on his bike and everything was annoying. When you realize what was going on in those other people's lives, you had a lot more grace for them and a lot more. Because I don't think Johnny's really purposely getting behind your car to slow you down, that you almost going to run him over. Person in front of you at Starbucks that can't make up their mind and you need your coffee and you need to go, well, Anyway, so sometimes if we just think about what's going on with others around us, then we can control our own attitude in it.
Wait a minute. Then that means that the world doesn't revolve around me. I don't know if I like that, Sherry.
Did you forget about the new thing that I told you too? My fun saying, I don't wanna. How many days do you wake up and you just don't wanna? I don't wanna be nice to the other driver. I don't wanna. And by the way, I don't wanna pull that weed or I don't wanna acknowledge that weed. I just don't wanna. I don't wanna. And then
that weed in my garden was there for 2 weeks. And what I did, I ignored it. I walked out. I'd say, that looks terrible. I need to pick that. And I would walk away from it.
You do know
how often do we do that?
The weed got bigger. You do know that.
And the weed got bigger. Yes. How often do we do that? And all it took, I could not believe all it took was my reaching down, one hand, pick it up, throw it away, and it was gone. That's all it took. But I still went for 2 weeks complaining, boy, I don't like that. I really need to do that. And didn't do a thing.
I call that sitting in your poopy diaper and not wanting to figure out how to change it.
Like,
I'm two. I want to sit in my poopy diaper and I don't want to change it because I don't want to.
I like the I don't want to. And
there's so many times where we just don't want to think about it. And then when you start just making those small changes, like pulling that, I mean, how much of the weed did you pull before you realized it was all one weed?
It was a split second. It was so easy to pull out. That was the amazing thing.
So it's like having a splinter that you didn't want to deal with.
Right. How often do we do that too? Just, I don't want to deal with it. Well, if I don't want to deal with it, it just goes bigger and bigger and bigger.
So this week, that's what we want you to do is we want you to look at those areas in your life that can be weeds. The squirrels, your mindset, even the stuff that you don't want to. And just acknowledge that they're there. And next week, we're going to talk about how to remove some of those weeds, aren't we?
Sometimes my office becomes the I don't want to. Well, I'll be cleaning the house. I've got something. I don't know where to put this. Oh, I'll just throw it in there and I'll deal with it later. Well, there's no other room available in the house, so it becomes my office. Then I start calling my office, put it in the junk room. Now I just totally changed my attitude. My surroundings totally took over.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I notice when my husband does that and it drives me nuts. But I have bad news. Sherry does that. So I'm like, why won't you just put the shovel away? And then later I find myself not putting. What did you just say? Those papers that I'm just going to throw in my office and I'll deal with them later, Terry Ann. But all I had to do is if I would have put them in the right, what would have it took me? 5 minutes to file and put them in the right places that they belong?
If even that long.
But we're like, oh, that just seems like way too much work. And I love this. Like my office drives me nuts all the time. You want to talk about an office? My office and my bedroom are the two rooms that do not stay clean in my house. I know I'm being very transparent here. But how about if you just set a timer and you clean your office for 30 minutes twice a week or 3 times a week? Where will you finally be?
You know what? Reed used to be on I don't know if it's on Facebook. I think it was a Facebook thread. And this group of people would get on this one thread and they would say they challenged each other. Okay, everybody, set your timers for the next 10 minutes. We're all going to go do this. They all stopped what they were doing, went and did what they were doing for 10 minutes and then came back. And then later in the day, okay, what's another challenge we need? What do you need to get done? Okay, set your timer. It was amazing how the group mentality helped with that.
You mean having accountability and having people to support and encourage you? What an idea. Maybe you could get a coach to do that.
You know, we'll have to talk about that next week as a way to de-weed your life.
Yeah, because I have a friend that he's like, I always have to go to the gym 3 times a day because I have a personal trainer. I don't necessarily need a personal trainer, but I do because it makes me go to the gym 3 times a week.
Somebody asked me last night, hey, have you considered doing a podcast? I said, yeah, I've considered it. But the only reason I'm doing a Facebook Live is I'm accountable to Sherry. Otherwise, I have a problem with getting it done.
I think more than somebody has told you to do a podcast, Terry Ann. Are we actually making
No, this was part of the conversation.
Yeah, no, but I know I've had that conversation with you that you need to do a podcast.
Yeah, and the same answer, commitment.
What are those weeds that you see that are keeping those beautiful blossoms that you got already growing in your life, but now you got these weeds coming up? So that's what we're going to talk about next week. And then we're going to talk about how we can de-weed them. So I want everybody.
If you think about it this week, when your weeds come to mind, come back over to this post and type the word replay and what your weed is.
Oh, that'd be awesome if you type it here. You also can just keep a journal. But yeah, we would love to hear what those weeds are. So I want everybody to make it a great day.
Bye, everyone. See you next week. Let's look at that garden.